When it comes to politics, Americans can be quite unkind to their opponents. During the election of 1796, supporters of presidential candidate John Adams claimed that backers of Thomas Jefferson were cutthroats who walk in rags and sleep amid filth and vermin. Not to be outdone, when the two men faced off again in 1800, a writer secretly hired by Thomas Jefferson called Adams a hideous, hermaphroditical character. That rhetoric was adversarial and no doubt conveyed some genuine animosity. But NewsHour Weekend special correspondent Jeff Greenfield wonders if today's politicians haven't gone into more dangerous territory.
It was just one line from Senator Bob Dole's acceptance speech more than 20 years ago, but it speaks volumes about where our politics is today. He was talking about the contrast between himself and his rival, President Bill Clinton.
This is not the outlook of my opponent, and he is my opponent, not my enemy.
Think about that for a minute. An opponent is someone you battle in an election or on a ball field, but with a common understanding of the rules of the game and a mutual willingness to abide by the outcome.
He is my opponent, not my enemy.
But an enemy? That's very different. An enemy is someone who poses a threat to your survival, someone to be fought by any means necessary. And that's increasingly how Americans have come to view those on the other side of the political divide. For instance, if your competitor is an enemy, it makes perfect sense for you to not just defeat her, but to imprison her.
Lock her up is right.
It makes sense to regard your critics not just as an inevitable part of the tension between press and politicians, but as something worse, the enemy of the American people.
And this crooked media, you talk about crooked Hillary, they're worse than she is.
And it's not just the president doing it. Back in October 2015, Hillary Clinton was asked who she regarded as her enemy. She answered,
well, in addition to the NRA, the health insurance companies, the drug companies, the Iranians, probably the Republicans.
This increasingly dark view of the opposition has now become a dominant feature of the American political landscape. Survey after survey has shown that Republicans and Democrats now view each other not simply as wrong, but as malevolent, literally a danger to the republic. According to Pew Research, 45% of Republicans now say that Democratic policies threaten the nation's well-being, while 41% of Democrats view GOP policies in equally stark terms. The most dramatic example of this mutual hostility is this. Back in 1960, only 5% of Republicans and 4% of Democrats said they'd be displeased if a child married someone from the other major party. Half a century later, half of Republicans and more than a third of Democrats said yes, they would be somewhat or very unhappy. What makes this tribalism particularly dangerous is that it has grown at a time when one of America's core convictions, the worth of a free society, has eroded, especially among the young. They're simply less and less convinced that living in a democracy is all that important. Among Americans born in the 1930s, 72% said that living in a democracy was essential. Among those born in the 1980s, the number is 30%. The less faith in an open society, the more reason there is to believe that politics is more like warfare than a contest for power where limits apply. The guardrails that protect our constitutional republic have endured for more than 2 centuries in the face of challenges far greater than today's. But when you combine a growing sense that your political opponents are enemies with doubts about the very worth of a free society, you threaten some of our bedrock assumptions about how the oldest representative democracy in the world stays healthy.